Earlier this week, we saw the Los Angeles Lakers eliminated from playoff contention at home, by the way, by Ant-Man himself, Anthony Edwards, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Lakers lost in five. And the team met with the media yesterday to talk about the offseason and what needs to happen heading into next year. Head coach J.J. Redick had one thing on his mind yesterday when talking about what the Lakers need to do to improve. Take a listen.
I'll start with the offseason and the work that's required in an offseason to be in championship shape. And, you know, we have a ways to go as a roster. And certainly there are individuals that were in phenomenal shape. There's certainly other ones that could have been in better shape.
First things first, obviously he's talking about Luca Doncic. It doesn't take an Einstein to figure that out. That may not be the only person he's talking about, but clearly he's talking about him at the very least. He's the one that's going to have the ball in his hands the majority of the time. He's going to be the face of the franchise for the next decade, or at least the foreseeable future. He is a basketball iconic superstar, globally, I might add. And so because of that, you're looking at him and you know the conditioning or lack thereof, the manner in which he was attacked, the fact that in Game 5, in the closeout game, he gave up 9 blow-bys, for crying out loud. That is something that has to be rectified. J.J. Redick knows that, and his willingness to speak about that is not hypocritical in any way, ladies and gentlemen, because J.J. Redick, say what you will about him, but he has always been somebody that's been in shape. He was always, his penchant and what rode his success through Duke as an All-American and then ultimately on the professional basketball level was the fact that J.J. Redick's movement without the ball was obviously a very, very significant thing. The man has always been in shape. So when he talks about one's conditioning, it's not like we can look at him and call him out for anything. We certainly can't do that. That's number one. Number two, when the Lakers talk about improving their roster, understand that they don't have a boatload of things to work with. You got some players, the Austin Reeves, the Rui Hachimuras, the Jared Vanderbilts of the world, the Gabe Vincents of the world. All of them are hovering around anywhere from 11 to 13 million in salary. Here's the problem with an Austin Reeves that's making about 13 million. If you move him, how much equitable compensation are you getting in return? He's established himself as a bona fide number 3 option for the Los Angeles Lakers. He's averaged about 20 points a game this year. He's improved vastly. And if you're going to move him, okay, what kind of equitable compensation are you going to get in return for his services? Because at $13 million, again, the salaries don't necessarily match. He's grossly underpaid. So because he's grossly underpaid, you know, it's one of those situations where if you move him, you're going to get shortchanged on the return. I don't know about that. But the biggest thing it brings me to is having me wondering about LeBron James. If LeBron James decides to come back for his 23rd season, which everybody and their grandmama believes he will, I think a legitimate question to be asked is, what is he playing for? Do y'all understand that since LeBron James has arrived in Los Angeles, they missed the playoffs, they won a championship in the bubble, but then they spent the next 3 years or 4 years or so either missing the playoffs or getting bounced in the first round. And at least once they were swept. Since 2020, okay, LeBron James has gone to the Western Conference Finals. Darvin Ham's first year, all right? But other than that, he's been home in the first round or before then. So you look at the Los Angeles Lakers right now, you look at the rest of the Western Conference, ladies and gentlemen, OKC's not going anywhere. Houston's not going anywhere. Minnesota's not going anywhere. Dallas is not going anywhere. I gave you 4 teams right there. And we don't even have to count all the others. Where's Denver going to fade? Jokic is still around. Jamal Murray's still there. Aaron Gordon is still there. Michael Porter Jr. is still there. Where they going? That's 5 teams. Clippers. Lakers had their way with them during the regular season. The Clippers are the ones still playing, going for a Game 7 tomorrow night in Denver in the first round of the playoffs while the Lakers are already home. And 5. What's up with them? So I gave you 6 teams right there. 6 teams. If you're LeBron James, at some point in time, it's appropriate and fair to ask, what is he playing for? Because are the Lakers going to win? OKC's the one with the assets. Houston's the one with the assets. Minnesota got Ant-Man and some defensive wizards around them. Dallas, Kyrie eventually will return. Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, they ain't going away. I'm just saying we got to pay attention to these things. You're talking about 5 to 6 different teams before you even think about the Lakers. LeBron James is still an all-world player. He's still one of the greatest. There is no question in that. But if conditioning is an issue with Luca and the ability of the Lakers front office to do something to improve the roster are all high question marks, where does that leave LeBron James? Is he really playing to win? Meaning, does he believe that they can win with him? Is he playing because he just doesn't feel like relocating? Is he playing so his other son could come into the NBA? These are the questions that people are asking. And I think they're legitimate. Because right now, with the Lakers going home in the first round, it's almost so you can't even take their regular season effort seriously anymore. You got to wait until the postseason when teams have an opportunity to plan and plot against them in the best of 7 series. Can't ignore it. I certainly am not. And I don't think the rest of you can either. The situation is what it is. And there is absolutely, positively no way around it. By the way, as an aside, to the people of Dallas, can we take the heat off of Nico Harrison just a touch? Because you talk about somebody that doesn't look too bad today, it's Nico Harrison. Because when you look at Luca Doncic and you look at the way everybody from Julius Randle to a Mike Conley Jr. to an Ant-Man to a Jaden McDaniels, when you see the way everybody was blowing right by him, he is a defensive liability. And offensively, because they pressured him 94 feet for most of the game, come fourth quarter time, he didn't have the legs. Is he going to dedicate himself? Is he going to recognize that he's the new face of the franchise for the Los Angeles Lakers? Is he going to understand the importance of making sure he's in peak condition so he can maximize his talents?